Good evening, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the south. A Hampshire school is evacuated after a chemical scare. Hundreds of children forced to leave lessons.
The cost of congestion. Some vehicles could pay £200 a day to drive into Southampton. Drastic plans to tackle one of our most polluted places.
Could you spot the fake? With just 24 days until Christmas, a warning about counterfeit gifts.
And the lanterns lighting up Winchester tonight at the city's spectacular street parade. Good evening to you. Hundreds of children had to be evacuated from a school in Hampshire today after a chemical scare.
25 firefighters were called to Warblington School in Havant this morning after staff and pupils began to feel unwell. 3 teachers and a pupil were taken to hospital. Mary Stanley has more.
Specialist teams from across Hampshire were called to Warblington School when pupils reported a strong smell of ammonia. Among them, police hazmat officers, a hazardous response unit from South Central Ambulance and detection and monitoring teams from Winchester. 3 members of staff and a pupil were taken to hospital for checks after reporting irritation.
With all hazardous material incidents, especially one where there's a lot of people around, we take it very seriously. Indications at this moment in time it is a very minor incident, but we have sent a number of resources in case it had escalated. But thankfully it's been contained, and I'd like to stress that none of the children in the classrooms were affected at all by this incident.
The 700 pupils at the school were evacuated to the hall, furthest away from the incident in the maths and science block.
All the students were sat calmly in lines in the sports hall. At some stage during the morning we allowed them to go onto the multi-use games area or in the sports hall. All very controlled, very calm. So yeah, really proud of the staff and the students.
All the boilers here are now being checked as a matter of precaution, leaving the school without any heating or cooking equipment. So all the pupils who can are being sent home for the afternoon. An investigation by police and fire crews found no source of the smell, which was said to have dissipated. Crews ventilated the area and declared it safe. Teachers will be relieved to have normal lessons tomorrow. Mary Stanley, ITV News, Havant.
The M27 had to be closed this afternoon after a crash involving 3 cars. The collision happened westbound at junction 12. 2 people were taken to hospital, 1 suffering with head injuries.
Police forces have chosen today, the 1st of December, of course, to launch their drink and drug driving campaigns. They've been talking to people about the dangers. Anyone caught could face a driving ban, a £5,000 fine or jail. In Dorset, more officers have been trained to test motorists for drugs as well as alcohol.
We've been saying for a number of years, don't drink and drive because of the effects that it will have on you. But we're trying to say, what about the effects it will have on other people, on your family, on your loved ones? So the people you're buying a present for today, if you're involved in a crash, you could kill yourself, you could kill someone else. If you don't worry about your own safety, if you don't worry about going to prison, then think about the family that you're going to leave behind. Think about those that whose lives you're going to destroy and devastate by having that drink or by taking drugs.
1 in every 69 people will be homeless this Christmas in Brighton. That's according to figures released today by Shelter. The city has the worst rate for homelessness outside London. The charity says high rents, a lack of affordable homes and cuts to welfare support are adding to the problem.
Plans have been announced for a new food bank in Aldershot. Members of Aldershot Community Together are looking for a base. The town's last food bank closed last year after 30 years.
Some vehicles driving into Southampton could be charged £200 a day in drastic measures to cut pollution.
Yes, the city is one of the most polluted in the country, and scientists say it's having a devastating effect on the health of people who live there.
Well, it comes on the day that the health watchdog NICE are calling for more to be done to cut emissions, improve air quality and save lives. With a special report, here's Kerry Swain.
Road transport causes 70% of Southampton's air pollution. Diesel vehicles more polluting than petrol, generating significantly higher levels of nitrogen dioxide and what's called particulate matter. Long-term exposure estimated to cause 200 early deaths in the city every year.
This up here collects all the particles that would settle in your nose, this one collects all the particles that would settle in your lungs, and this one the particles which might actually get into your blood supply.
Researchers at the University of Southampton are collecting particles and studying their effect on cells in the body.
We see links between people who live in big cities and rates of asthma, rates of heart disease, newborn baby weight being low, and even recently there's been links to diabetes and Alzheimer's disease, and these particles have been found in people's brains.
You might feel protected inside your car, but the air I'm breathing in here is more polluted than outside in this slow-moving traffic. In fact, drivers are exposed to up to 15 times more pollution than walkers and cyclists on busy city streets. A monitoring station measuring emissions. Southampton named by the World Health Organization as one of the worst cities in the country for breaching air pollution safety levels. Children at Sholing Junior School have already persuaded their parents to leave cars at home. A 23% increase in the number of pupils walking, cycling and scooting earned the school a national award for sustainable travel.
There's too much pollution in the air and it's really bad, and it can make lots of people unwell.
My sister's got quite a mild asthma, but I still get very worried sometimes because she has breathing problems at night.
If you're driving, just convince your parents to walk.
Private diesel cars will be exempt when Southampton becomes a clean air zone in 2019, but the most polluting commercial vehicles will pay a penalty charge.
We'd anticipate that HGVs would be charged something like £100 to £200 a day in order to enter the zone. Some of our members are incredibly worried about this, and they fear that they could be forced out of business if these regulations come into force. If we need to change, then we need government support to help us do that.
We could make cars without no smoke, turning it all around. It's not a joke.
10-year-old Olivia McConey's rap won top prize in Southampton City Council's Solutions to Pollution competition. Raising awareness is part of the council's new clean air strategy.
Some of our clean air measures aren't about turning away things like cruise ships. They aren't about turning away hauliers into the city. It's about working with them to achieve practical measures. They actually get savings as well. So as they upgrade their fleet, they'll have fuel savings which they can then bank. I don't think it's fair, and you've heard some of the children and their passion around the issue, that we're expecting residents to breathe in these emissions from these vehicles because companies aren't willing to invest in their fleet.
The council's first electric delivery van. Large diesel vehicles like refuse trucks cannot yet be powered by electricity, but cruise ships which leave diesel engines running while in port could plug into mains electricity if the facility was there. The port says feasibility work into providing shore power for berthed vessels is now taking place. Improving air quality won't be cheap. The Blue Star Bus Company has spent almost £7 million replacing old high-emission buses with the latest clean engines. But the health cost of Southampton's polluted air is put at £50 million.
Up to now, it's not been fully realised that breathing it in is worse than passive smoking. We have a Clean Indoor Air Act, haven't we, where you can't smoke in pubs and restaurants, and we all accept that because of people's health. But now we have to get used to the idea that outdoors can be just as bad.
Southampton City Council says reducing pollution levels and improving air quality is a priority. It has promised decisive action, but says everyone in the city has a role to play. Kerry Swain, ITV News.
Indeed, you are watching ITV News here in the Meridian region. Thanks as always for choosing us. We appreciate it. Coming up, Andrew Pate will be here with the sport and an epic night for those Super Saints. Plus,
lighting up the city, we're live with Simon in Winchester as hundreds gather for the annual Lantern Procession.
That'll be really good. And as always, for more on all of our stories, do head to itv.com/Meridian. Any views or news, do please give us a call. 0808 10 10 095 is the number to ring. We always love to hear from you. Or you can get in touch via Facebook, or should you prefer, why not send us a tweet at ITV Meridian. More news. The RMT union has today called off its Southern Rail strike just before Christmas, instead announcing a 48-hour stoppage from the 19th of December. Walkouts planned from the 6th to the 8th of December and the 31st of December to the 2nd of January are unchanged. Train drivers who are members of the ASLEF union are also holding 3 separate strikes this month and next.
Now, all across the region today, children excitedly opened up their advent calendars. For them, the countdown to Christmas has well and truly started.
Yes, but for parents and grandparents, it can, of course, mean panic as they realise they have just 24 days to go to finish the Christmas shopping. And
with the pressure to get it all done, there's a warning tonight to beware of fake goods that can flood the marketplace at this time of year, particularly at car boot sales and some market stalls.
Much of it comes in through our ports, unless it's confiscated, of course. 2 years ago, this haul of fake items was seized just before Christmas at Southampton docks. It included fake toys and children's slippers.
ITV's Tonight team have been looking at the issue of fake goods and the cons that are catching buyers out. That programme is on later here this evening. First, though, here's Lauren Hall with some of their findings.
Henry Ensell from Buckinghamshire was delighted with his early Christmas present last year, a £400 hoverboard.
It's finally here.
That joy soon turned to horror when the board exploded, leaving Henry's mum very badly burnt.
I jumped out of bed, I brought the quilt with me and we smothered it, and that's how I think I got burnt. As I smothered it, the flames licked my arm. What terrified me the most was 30 seconds earlier, our son had it in his arms.
So it could have exploded in his arm?
If that had blown up in his hands, that would have killed him, there was absolutely no doubt.
It's thought the battery pack in the board may have been counterfeit. Counterfeit goods often lack components which provide safety features in the genuine articles. The fakes are increasingly available.
It is a big problem at the moment, and it's getting bigger all the time. Every year we do a survey and we found that this year twice as many people as last year have bought counterfeit products.
It's not just the festive fakes to watch out for. Fraudsters love Christmas too. Steve Brodie wanted to treat himself by buying a camera online via the Amazon Marketplace site. But when the seller wanted to be paid by bank transfer, Steve contacted Amazon. He was apparently given the wrong advice and was told that it was fine to pay this way. But Steve was left £600 out of pocket and with no camera. Scammers had hijacked an authentic Amazon sellers page.
I felt physically sick when I found out it was never going to arrive. I actually went to the toilet and was sick. I wouldn't have sent the money if I thought they weren't going to support me.
Originally, Amazon said Steve wasn't entitled to a refund, but changed their minds when the Tonight programme contacted them. They said they advised customers never to pay for marketplace items outside of their site. It's estimated the average UK family spent £800 on Christmas last year and are expected to spend at least the same this year. But the message for shoppers, especially at Christmas time, is buyer beware. Lauren Hall, ITV News.
ITV reporter Adam Shaw has been working with the Tonight team on their investigation into fake goods, and he joins us now. Adam, first of all, people really have to be careful, don't they? What most surprised you about the cons and tricks that are out there?
Well, what most shocked me was just how easy it is to hack into another person's computer and hijack all their personal information. I'm often on Wi-Fi in a coffee shop or anything like that, and we sat next to a hacker. He was into my computer within 10 seconds and could steal all my bank details. Be really, really careful if you're using public Wi-Fi without a password. A real shocker.
Good advice. Well, many people will know that they're buying fakes. What do they need to know about the black market, though?
Well, look, a lot of people buy fake goods and they know they're buying fake goods, but be really careful. First of all, you could be funding organised crime. But more importantly, even perhaps, is the fact if you buy something electronic, it can really be dangerous. It can literally blow up in your hands or the hands of your loved ones. So my advice on that would be don't risk it.
And do you have any other top tips?
Yes, I mean, look, if things look too good to be true, they probably are. And especially if you're buying something online and the seller suddenly says, look, let's transfer the money outside of this website, let's do a bank transfer. That's a big no-no. That's usually a con. We show some big examples of people who've spent a lot of money on goods which just don't exist. Be very careful.
Adam Shaw, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you want to find out more about how you can protect yourself, please watch the Tonight programme here on ITV at 7:30.
Well, one thing on the list for many families, of course, this Christmas is a visit to Santa's grotto. But for children with autism, that can become a stressful experience with too many people, too much noise, too much bustle.
Now, one mother from Sussex has developed a special autism-friendly grotto, and the idea is being rolled out nationwide. Here's Malcolm Shaw from Crawley.
There's great excitement at County Mall in Crawley. Santa's grotto is open for business. A crowd of youngsters ready to meet Father Christmas. But this is a special grotto for children with autism, who can sometimes find the visit overwhelming.
If you think about Christmas in general, it's a sensory overload for children with autism. I mean, it's difficult for all of us. You've got shoppers, queues, lights. It really is quite difficult, and if you look at the Santa's grotto and you see a queue that's very, very long, you know that your child 9 out of 10 times is not going to cope with that queue, which ultimately means they won't get to see Santa, they won't get to share that experience that other families do.
Joanne came up with the idea for the autism-friendly grotto through personal experience with her own little boy who has the condition. She teamed up with the company Magenta Star, training the elves and Santa how to run quieter, calmer sessions with specially chosen gifts.
Father Christmas, he's the greatest man in the whole world. He gave me a present.
Gave you a present?
Yes, it's a dinosaur. I like him because he's so kind.
Grottos become the centrepiece for shopping centres like this over the festive season. The autism-friendly versions have proved so popular, they're being rolled out to 30 different locations around the country this Christmas.
I think it's great that we've given the opportunity for the children to come down today and see Santa in a way which is friendly for them, that they don't have to queue and suits their needs. And I think it's something that we'll certainly be doing more of in the future.
I think it's been really beneficial for them. The staff here have been really understanding of the children. We've had a child who's been quite anxious and they were very, very patient.
And are you going to be fast asleep when I come?
Yeah.
That's a good boy.
Autism can leave children and their families feeling isolated, but this project proves that with a few simple changes, they can enjoy the magic of Christmas just like anyone else. Malcolm Shaw, ITV News, Crawley.
Good idea. Now, some landmarks across the region and around the world are turning red tonight to mark World AIDS Day.
Yes, here's Southampton's clock tower at the Civic Centre, all lit up in red in support of the cause. Over in Brighton, a candlelit vigil's underway at the AIDS Memorial Sculpture in Newstein Gardens, followed by a concert in Kemp Town.
Today, a survey by a leading HIV charity has revealed the extent to which many people in our region are still misinformed about the virus.
Yes, the Terence Higgins Trust, that has one of its main offices and a clinic in Brighton and a centre in Oxford, has said that public perceptions are still mirroring those seen in the 1980s. Our reporter Kevin Ashford's been to talk to people living with HIV and surviving.
It is a deadly disease and there is no known cure. This is how most people in the 1980s got to know about HIV and AIDS, through a hard-hitting government campaign. So don't die of ignorance. These days, medical advances mean those with HIV, like Alex Corsten-Ronaldson, can lead long and healthy lives, with medication reducing the amount of virus in the blood to such low levels that it can't be passed on. Less easy to change, though, are other people's views of HIV.
The virus doesn't really affect me on a day-to-day basis, apart from I pop a couple of pills in the morning. Now, it's not a walk in the park. I have to go for regular doctor's appointments, and so the physical side of it is quite manageable. It's the psychological side and the stigma that's the difficult part.
Anne-Marie Byrne was living in Zimbabwe when her husband died of AIDS 20 years ago. It was then she discovered she had HIV too and came to this country for treatment. She finds many people's attitudes are stuck in the last century.
Somebody said to me recently, aren't you worried about
having your grandson in your flat and passing the virus on to them, and I thought, you stupid, stupid person. So this is 4 decades into the pandemic, and I don't believe that a lot has changed, unfortunately.
Such experiences are reflected in the results of a survey carried out by a sexual health charity.
In the south and southeast, approximately 30% of people who responded to our survey said that they felt that you could transmit the virus by sharing a toothbrush, and approximately 1 in 5 in the south and southeast felt that you could transmit the virus by kissing somebody. Neither of those is true.
The Trust acknowledges the 1980s campaign did save lives, but says work needs to be done these days to educate the public about the modern reality of living with HIV, a virus that's diagnosed in 6,000 new cases in the UK every year. Kevin Ashford, ITV News.
It's 6:21 and the ITV Evening News continues with the national and international news at 6:30. Here's Mark Austin.
The growing scale of abuse at British football clubs, police now believe there are around 350 victims. As more footballers come forward, a helpline has received more than 850 calls in just a week. New figures reveal a record number of EU citizens came to Britain just as the country voted to leave the Union. And the Lake District Hotel, devastated by Storm Desmond, reopens 1 year on. Join Ranveer and me at 6:30.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Right, now the sport with Andrew Payton. Patey, the big question last night, could the Saints outgun the Gunners? Yes, you said, and amazingly, you were right.
I know, it won't happen again, I can assure you. But you are right, yes. Southampton are through to the semi-finals of the EFL Cup for the first time in 30 years. The Saints had lost their last 6 League Cup quarter-finals, but they won at Arsenal last night and will now play Liverpool in the semis.
Selco Builders Warehouse, proud sponsors of ITV Meridian Sports Report.
This is not normally a happy hunting ground for Southampton. Last night's win at Arsenal just their 4th ever. The Gunners not able to clear Ryan Bertrand's cross, which eventually fell to Jordi Claessy, to score his first ever goal for the club. Arsenal had made 10 changes from their Premier League game at the weekend, while Southampton made 8. But it was the Saints who adapted the better, England left-back Bertrand scoring his first goal of the season. And in the second half, it was Southampton who continued to look the most dangerous, Højbjerg among those foiled by Arsenal keeper Emiliano Martinez. The Saints, though, delighted to book their place in the semi-finals.
The stakes get a bit higher. We've got 2 legs, so we have to be smart, and really show our experience over the 2 legs, I think, and getting to the final and then getting your hands on that silverware, don't come around too often. And I think it's not overdue for the club, but said the other day it's probably about the right time.
And Southampton have cleared assistant manager Eric Black of any wrongdoing. The Telegraph ran a series of stories about alleged corruption in football in September, one of which involved Mr. Black. But Saints say their investigation has shown no evidence of wrongdoing and that Eric Black retains the full support of the club. Gareth Southgate's given his first press conference since being named England manager. Southgate, who grew up in Crawley, has signed a 4-year deal, and he explained why there's no break clause, even if things don't go well at the World Cup in 2018.
We also have a group of players that I think over the next 3-4 years are going to develop a lot, and we want to build that. So it's important to look not just at short-term results, but what we're trying to do over the longer term, both with the senior team and the junior teams that are coming below.
Eastleigh have appointed Martin Allen as their new manager. The former Portsmouth player will be officially unveiled tomorrow. He replaces Ronnie Moore, who left the club yesterday for personal reasons. Alex Thompson from Gosport is back leading the Vendée Globe. This new footage from the Southern Ocean shows him in great spirit. His arch-rival Armel Leclerc went ahead 4 days ago, but Thompson has struck back in what's turning out to be an epic duel. We caught up with him last night when he was looking forward to the wind changing so he could take on the Frenchman.
Both boats will jibe over and we'll be on starboard tack. Yes, that's right, starboard tack. And I will be happy, yes I will, to be on starboard tack. Yes, we will get the foil out and hopefully we'll have enough wind to fly. Keep your fingers crossed, won't you?
Alex Thompson there, a big fan of starboard tack.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all? It would be.
Thank you. Now the streets of Winchester are lit up tonight as the city hosts its annual lantern parade.
Yes, thousands of people have travelled to Winchester to take part or watch the procession. Among them our very own Simon Parkin, who we can talk to now. Simon, how's it going?
Oh, well, have a look, Fred. You can see a magnificent selection of lanterns here, and we're joined by Canon Rowley. It's been going for 9 years now. Why do you keep doing it?
We keep doing it because it's a tremendous community event. It's so thrilling to see people coming together from churches, from communities, from schools, and just doing something so creative together.
And it is quite nice, isn't it, to see the hard work that goes into it. But someone's got to do the hard work of the judging. Never an easy job. Who had that honour?
It's my honour to do that every year. I hope I'm quite practised at it by now. You have to avoid doing too obvious clashes between different styles. You try and choose big ones, little ones, people who made an effort, funny ones, and you just try and get a balance.
And the quirkiest, the ones that caught your eye this year?
Well, I immediately like the sausage dog, the Christmas dachshund as he's called, which is going to get a good prize.
Nothing says Christmas like a sausage dog. Well, let's go and break in to the procession and let's go and see if we can meet someone who's made something. Here's someone, little luck on somebody's shoulder. Hello, can we ask you about your lantern? What's your name?
Beth.
And what did you make, Beth?
A star.
And how long did it take to make, Beth?
Took weeks.
Weeks and weeks. And who did the hard work? Did you get any help?
Yeah.
And who did most of it, Mum and Dad or you?
Mum and Dad.
Yeah, excellent. Well, look, back to the procession. Thank you for letting us interrupt you. I mean, just a glorious selection. You can see that just coming through. We spoke to one school who had spent half term making their lanterns, so something for everyone to enjoy here. And better yet, the weather's still pretty good, although it is a little chilly. Here's the forecast.
From blizzards to pool, driving through Europe. Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Well, if you've been struggling with just how cold it's been this last couple of days, the next couple will be slightly less cold. The downside, of course, is that we won't get some natural art like this. Some lovely images on Sarah's windows in Salisbury first thing this morning. And have a look at this from Tina, Poole Park Pond, where the geese and ducks were lucky enough to be able to go for a walk today. Tomorrow they might be swimming because temperatures will be largely above freezing overnight tonight. But the general plan stays the same. We got high pressure very much in charge as we head through the next few days. That means settled conditions but variable amounts of cloud. More cloud for the next 48 hours, then as we get through the weekend things will start to brighten up. A lot more blue sky on offer come Sunday. But back to tonight, that cloud is working as a blanket and it means that certainly to the east and north of the region temperatures way above freezing. We were minus 7.2 in parts of Berkshire last night. Tonight, look, we're up to around 4-5 degrees for some of us. But the southwest is where we have got clear skies, and that means we'll see a widespread frost again, and we'll also see the risk of some fog developing. There is a Met Office weather warning in place until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning because some of that fog will be fairly dense. So come what may tomorrow morning, it's going to be a grey start because there's a good deal of cloud to look forward to as well. As we head through Friday, there will be a few bright or sunny spells here and there, but think generally more overcast, and you're probably about right. Temperatures going in the right direction, 7-8 degrees tomorrow, so still not feeling desperately warm, but not as cold as it has been for the last couple of days. As for your high tide times, well, you can see in Portland 8 o'clock in the morning, then 20 past 8 in the evening.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
And in just a moment, we've got the ITV Evening News with Mark Austin and Ranveer Singh.
Sangeeta has got Outlet News. Do join her if you can. But for now, from the team here at ITV Meridian, thank you very much indeed for watching. Take care. Join us soon.
See you later. Bye-bye.